Did you know that once upon a time ago, in a land called America, you could be paid for a hard day's labor in something called script? Script was basically non-legal tender that was kind of like a coupon or an arcade token. You would spend 12 hours in the mines or breaking your back building railroads, and you would get a little coupon that said, "Oh, you earned 12 bananas from the company's store." It's given that song, "I load 16 tons. What do you get?" You know that song? Yeah. It's like that. Which brings us to today's topic on Gigi Says What Now? The Department of Labor. So welcome back, and if you're new here, my name is Genevieve Gravel, and I talk trash about history. I really hope you'll consider hitting that like and subscribe for me. But for now, let's get into this. I think there's no denying that America's really had a pretty horrific and tragic history when it comes to employment and labor. Now, the whole purpose of the Department of Labor is to develop, prosper, and promote the welfare of working people. And fun fact, the Department of Labor was the first government department to be run by a woman. But it would only come to pass after a 50-year campaign to have a voice for the people, for the workers in the cabinet. In Pennsylvania, 1892, the workers of the Carnegie Steel Plant, I can't talk. Anyway, they went on strike, and the owners of the plant hired Pinkerton agents to come in and staff the plant with strike breakers. Well, the townsfolk did not take kindly to that, and one night surrounded the Pinkerton agents and forced them to resign. 2 weeks later, Andrew Carnegie would survive an assassination attempt, and he actually went on to be successful in keeping the unions out of his business. And much like this eyelash glue, sometimes strikes work, and sometimes they don't. In 1894, in the boomtown of Cripple Creek, Colorado, the owners of the mines, the gold mines, told the miners that they wanted to either extend their hours without extending their pay or cut their pay, to which the miners said, "I don't think so," and strikes. Boycotts. No boycotts there. There were strikes, and they got bad. They got so bad after dynamite had been deployed, a militia was formed, and the deputies of the militia actually went in and arrested 300 innocent townfolk. Only 4 were actually charged of crimes. There was, like I said, there was gunfire and explosions. Now, workers, being and feeling exploited, they were not receiving equal pay for equal work. Children were in the workplace. There were unsafe work conditions all over America. There were strikes, there were boycotts, and there were unions. So the Knights of Labor were started by garment workers and was an incredibly diverse union who would pressure the government to take responsibility for workers' safety. They also fought for the 8-hour workday, because believe it or not, people used to work more. They were incredibly popular and highly effective in organizing strikes and boycotts until, in Chicago, the workers of the McCormick Harvesting Machine Company went on strike. This was intended to be a peaceful strike. Unfortunately, it did not stay that way. 7 police and 2 civilians were killed in an explosion. 4 people would be tried and hung, while 2 other people would be tried and sentenced to life imprisonment. Many people thought that the trial was unfair, and some even thought that those people were innocent. Unfortunately, even though the Knights of Labor really didn't have anything to do with the explosions or the riots that ensued, there was a lot of chatter, and people definitely placed blame on them as well as other unions for the death and injuries, and the Knights of Labor kind of fell out of popularity as a result. Then on March 25th, 1911, there was a fire in Greenwich. It took place in a clothing factory that was on the 8th, 9th, and 10th story of a building. The company was called the Triangle Shirtwaist Company, and this would become known as the Triangle Shirtwaist Fire. Now, this company liked to they made clothes, and they employed seamstresses. The majority of their employees were women and children. Many of the girls actually, were as young as 14 years old. Now, the company had a policy where the employees would be locked into their workspaces. The doors would be locked so that they could not, pee on the company's dime. When the fire broke out, the doors remained locked. They would leap to their deaths from the 8th and 9th story to flee the flames. 146 women and girls died that day, the oldest being 44 and the youngest being 14. Of course, these are only a few very quick examples of the workplace of the late 18 and early 1900s. And despite the over 140 girls and women dying in 1911, it would not be until March 4th, 1913, when Taft signed in the Department of Labor. Now, he didn't want to. He was not a fan of it, and it came across his desk. It had passed the House and the Senate, and he knew if he didn't sign it, he was leaving the White House, that the incoming Woodrow Wilson would go ahead and enact it. So he did sign it. There was a lot of other shit going on in the country, and so the signing of the act and the bill to get the Department of Labor into place went unnoticed. Today, the Department of Labor protects workers' rights, job seekers, retirees, provides training, and stats related to employment and pricing. And, I guess it's better. It's better than it was in the 1800s, but here's my opinion, okay? Here is my opinion. Better does not equal good. It wouldn't be until 1926 when Ford brought in the 8-hour workday. I truly, truly believe that it's not because people do not want to work. I think that they do want to work. We do want to work. We simply are not willing to sell our souls to the company store. And remember, I love you so much. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you come back next week for another episode of Gigi Says What Now? Remember, you are valid, you are worthy, and you are loved.